Luca Nation. What a treat, man. Cage and I haven't recorded in a week. He's in his happy place. I know what you guys are picturing. Happy Gilmore, women in lingerie. He's smoking the cigar. You got the jackpot going, feeding those gold coins out. So Cage is in his happy place, and he deserves it. He works hard for you guys. Welcome back to another episode of Lucas, Tigers, and Bronze. Oh my, see, I'm even rusty. The best sports card podcast in the world, bringing you daily guests, news, topics, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Cage, welcome back. Cage, Crotchell region. So we're going to be doing the PWCC episode. We have a lot to talk about. Chet Holmgren injury. We haven't talked about that. The infamous Ken Golden Vegas Dave burning video. We could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. I'm excited, man. Chet Holmgren, I don't know about the Ken Golden thing. That's been beaten up. I put a video out there that was kind of like, all right, leave him alone. not to pile on. But yeah, man, lots of stuff. Chet Holmgren's a crazy one. Tatis, I know we beat that up about a week ago, but now Adidas dropped him, which is pretty crazy because he was supposed to be one of these crossover guys. And, we could probably go back in time and talk about a lot of sponsors that kind of stuck with their people through a lot worse than, whatever Tatis did or didn't do, or depends on if you believe him. We don't really
love the little faith music, the little music in the background. It's so soothing. By the way, if you guys don't know, a little fun tip, I sleep with like this. It's called like faith music on YouTube. It's the best sleep you'll ever have. It kind of reminds me of
nice.
Yeah, and it's like Dapper Keys, I think, is the guy who does. He plays piano.
No, it's George Michael, actually. Faith is by George Michael.
George Michael Michaels is figure skating.
George Michael Michaels is figure skating. That's Chaz.
Underrated. I would put that in the top 3 Will Ferrell movie, and I would say objectively, most people wouldn't.
No, most people definitely would. I watched it with my son the other day, actually. It was pretty funny. I skate to one song and one song only. My lumps. My lovely lady lumps. I'm not skating to anything about ladies' lumps.
You're a movie critic. You've probably watched thousands of hours of TV in your day. It shows. When you say no,
thanks.
No, how would you qualify it not being top 3?
Well, the easiest way of putting it in there, right? You're saying top 3 is, for someone like you who, may know some Will Ferrell movies. And, there's some gray area there, what you consider a Will Ferrell movie, right? But so we can go through. Do you consider Old School? It's a Will Ferrell movie, right?
No.
See, so you don't consider Old School a Will Ferrell movie. So that's where the gray area is.
But I would put that in the top 3, too, because I think that's just the best of the best. That's a Vince Vaughn Will Ferrell movie. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
so now it is.
I retract my statement.
So that.
Yes.
That and
Wedding Crashers.
You are putting now. No, wait. Okay, so now Wedding Crashers and the Song of Ice or whatever. Your skating one, Chaz Michael, and
Blades of Glory.
So now Blades of Glory. So now you have your 3. Okay, so you don't have Step Brothers.
Step Brothers so overrated. So overrated.
Okay.
It's not even funny.
You don't have Talladega Nights.
No, overrated. Leave the music. The music is soothing.
No, I mean, there's a lot. You don't have Elf. I mean, is that just a holiday one? So it goes in its own little gray area category.
Believe it or not, I've never seen Elf.
Well, it's very difficult. A lot of his movies are kind of similar, but he's got a lot of really good movies. And yeah, I mean, listen, if you enjoy, Blades of Glory, I can understand, putting it in the top there. I think most people objectively wouldn't. Sort of like if you were to poll most people about whether they'd pay double for a jersey number as opposed to just a regular PSA 10 on a card, they most likely would probably say that they would just pick the regular PSA 10 or 2 of them instead of getting a jersey number. You have some experience with that, don't you? Why don't you tell the listeners who might not follow your story about that one?
So what's really funny is you're actually 100% right. And it's Cage and I think we align on values and how we see like life. Like we're big family guys. We're big homebody guys. We give before we ask, almost too much to a fault. But when it comes to, so we align on that. I don't know how that worked out so perfect. But when it comes to cards, we could not be more diametrically opposite. Like to the point he's so frustratingly annoying that like any card I like that. Like yesterday, I sent him a $75 Mosaic Russell Wilson PSA 10. I'm like, dude, this is a steal, right? Like here's my thesis. East Coast Nationals going on. We have Burbank. We have a small show in Tampa. This is kind of the final weekend of summer. So there's going to be auctions that slip through the cracks. Not every auction, but there's going to be deals to be had. People are busy. People are shows. People are last week before kids go back to school. So my thesis is that these auctions slip through the cracks. So last night I'm sending Cage photos. And he's like, I have no clue. I wouldn't buy that card. Like, you wouldn't buy $75 stained glass PSA 10 Russell Wilson. I sent him a $40 Acuna Topps Gold PSA 10. And he shit on it, man. He shit on it.
So here's the funny part, right? So you're right. We are like diametrically opposed. But the funniest part, where it differs, is I would say probably 80% of the time Andrew sends me a picture of a card, I'll say it's just not my thing. You know what I mean? It's not my card. And I'll try to explain why. And he gets very like, even though he doesn't own the card yet, he gets very defensive about that card. And I love it. I got to tell you, I love it because it's part of the learning process. If you guys were to go back, like, 6 months ago, maybe not even 6 months, right? Before we started doing the PWCC episodes and whatnot, Andrew's a very different collector now than he even was just a couple of months ago. And it's all part of kind of the development of where you are in the hobby, right? You're more immersed in this stuff than I am now, but for a different reason. And I think, it's funny, man. Part of what makes the show work is we come at it from two totally different perspectives. But what's interesting is if you go back for the last couple of months, we're now in even more opposed, but for different reasons, right? But you used to be like hey, I'm gonna buy this and I'm gonna grade it and I'm gonna do this and now you got a whole bunch of other tricks up your sleeve, which are I'm gonna buy from one place and sell it on another place. I'm gonna buy something that's hidden, buried deep into an auction. I'm gonna sell it in a different location, or I'm gonna hold it for a little while and I'm gonna sell it because I'm gonna find one that falls through the cracks, or I'm gonna find one that CSG doesn't grade so great and I'm gonna crack it out and I put it in a SGC or vice versa, right? And somebody is just kicking around a bottle of soda somewhere upstairs. They're playing soccer with it. It sounds like, what are you doing? Make a lot of noise up there. Anyway, so, yeah, listen, it is what it is. So you're coming at a different way. I will tell you that I have a completely different perspective on it as well. And I don't want to say pessimistic, but I have a different kind of almost bearish view of the market now. And I'm buying things that I don't mind holding for a year, 2, 5. You're looking at cards saying, all right, I think I could buy this now for a price where it falls through the cracks. And you know what? I can probably sell it next week or next month because I'm going to get it in front of a different audience, right? The Acuna is a perfect example, right? This is a gold Acuna. There's not that many of them. And I'm saying, hey, I'm looking at it from a couple years ago. No one would ever buy, even if it's a gold and it's a PSA, no one would ever buy a second or third year card. What Derek Jeter's Topps gold rookie looks like, right? But do you know what the second gold of his looks like? No, you can't even picture it. Close your eyes and picture it in your brain. You can't even picture it. It's the same kind of thing, right? You know what rookie cards of baseball guys or football guys look like, but you have a hard time coming up with like the parallel. Luka, okay, I get it, right? You can come up with a second one.
Topps Chrome refractors of Peyton Manning are like $70 to $150 cards, and that's a PSA 10 of Manning refractor. So it's definitely interesting. I would say the thing I do the most right now is, Cage, you're a buy and hold guy. But there's still a lot of action in the market. Like, even though prices aren't going up and down, there's still a lot of people buying cards. And if you're able to maybe see around the curve, like something that I think is going to catch on. So Select was hobby for a long time, then it went retail, for example, right? But I don't know if you saw in this year's set, there is this, it's called the Color Wheel case hit. I can pull it up if you want.
So
you've seen it, right?
Yep. It's cool looking.
Sick card. I think that's a really interesting play if someone wants to buy those quick grade and flip. I think those are going to be, I know we always do this, the next Color Blast, all that stuff, but they're not priced there yet. And I think people love the look of Select, but they don't have the scarcity anymore now that it went retail. Remember, like field level and courtside ring level used to be really rare. Now you see those coming out of every retail pack. So they lost the rarity, but people still love the Select appeal. So the color wheel, for example, is one of the most aesthetically pleasing case hits. Another one I like is called artistic selections. But
The
like
problem I have with
thinking that
Select, and I love it, is just there's so many things and they're not numbered. And really, what I would do is our Select
Kaboom and
that
Color
start.
Blast aren't numbered either, brother.
I know, and they're great. But even these new versions, the stained glasses, the mosaic, the Color Blast blacks from Obsidians, the color wheels, just all the things they're adding, it's going to dilute the entire thing, right? And it reminds me of one of my bosses who used to write urgent on the top of something and leave it on my desk. And when I would get in there and I have 10 things left on my desk and every one of them said urgent, nothing was urgent. I would actually look for something to be left on my desk that didn't say the word urgent on it, and I'd be like, wow, this is the one I'm going to take care of first because this is the one that stands out.
Yes, a dramatic.
Kaboom it stood out. Then Color Blast, and you're like, all right, well, which one do I like better? I don't know. I guess I'm okay with either one. If I have $1,000 to spend, and the Color Blast and the Kaboom becomes $1,500, and I get the Color Blast for $800, all right, great, I'll take that. Oh wait, let me get the stained glass for $600. Oh wait, it's sort of like having an additional option, right? You don't have to buy the PSA 10. There's a PSA 9. There's a PSA 8. You don't need to go for that. It's why I think soccer cards have come down in value. It's why I think F1 cards come down in value. It's why everything, when it's new, when it's the only thing, there's a finite supply and a lot of demand. The demand is still here, but they're adding in these additional things. And let me just hammer home the numbered stuff, right? So there are a couple cards we'll talk about in today's PWCC auction that are really cool and fall into this category, but like, you've seen posts about it. One of the things, Select is a really nice looking product. Forget about all the different one of ones that there are. Where I think they went left and real left, and forgive me, maybe it's the animal kingdom talking, is what animal don't they have? Seriously, like what? And what are the animal? What are the rare ones? Like, am I supposed to be looking for a giraffe, a tiger, an elephant, a snake, a mongoose?
Right.
I honestly don't even know. Like, what's the one that you actually want?
I'll tell you, man.
There is such a thing as too much of a good thing.
Did you have a chance to look at the weekly?
I lost you there for a second, there, Charlie. You were about to tell me. Go ahead.
Have you had a chance to look?
I did. There's a Zion zebra. That's what I was talking about. We can go through them.
We'll dive into it now.
I love it. By the way, PWCC. But shout out to my guy Jesse. This is one of the cigars he gave me at Cigar Night. Little ode to Jesse. I brought one with me on the trip. But to smoke a Jesse cigar during the PWCC episode, gotta love it. Little nod to those guys. But yeah, man, did you see anything you liked?
I'll piggyback.
Without giving away the secrets.
Yeah, I'll piggyback on that. So you guys know. So we're sponsored by PWCC. That's what this show is about. Our Heritage Auctions episode was probably the episode we got the most feedback on, and that was an 1.5-hour marathon. Like people loved that episode. And if you guys want to get a flavor of what really PWCC is like, is we messaged Jesse about that, because he could just say no. He could be like, dude, I don't want you promoting our competitor, the biggest show in the hobby. Why would I let Heritage on when we have PWCC? He said, dude, it's good for the hobby. Have him on. He did that exact same thing when we reached out to him about SCP auctions with David Kohler. So like, there's companies who say they want to grow the pie, and then the rubber hits the road. The proof is in the pudding, and that was one of your guys' favorite episodes. So shout out. And the second thing is cards. This might be the last week you guys have a chance to buy Haaland cards before they hit just skyrocket. Hat trick today. I said this before the season. I'll say this again. I think he's going to break the single season Premier League scoring record. He's going to have hat trick after hat trick after hat trick. This Man City team is insane. They were down 2-0 and scored 4 goals in the second half. But that's not even the next guy I want to talk about. You guys know about Haaland. While everybody is on this Carlos Alcaraz now hype, I love these non-athletes in our hobby that like jump from sport to sport to sport that they could never actually play. They'll hang out for 33 seconds and then now they're on Alcaraz. Wait till they're on my guy. So Odegaard, Arsenal midfielder. I have never seen at his age. This is 2 Norwegians, by the way, Cage. Odegaard, Arsenal. The way he passes, he reminds me.
No, this guy is in. It's in like a Fleer Marvel. This is the Marvel Fleer Metal Marvel. You get the Odin cards with the one eye patch. Him and Thor on the like a dual auto Odin cards.
I need your advice, actually. So he's been a professional since 2015. He has a Mundachrome Panini from 2015 in a Real Madrid jersey. 5 PSA 9s, no 10s. What would you pay for a 9? Let's put him as a prospect of. He was like a Pete Alonso, I guess. I don't think anybody's talking about him. He has potential to be huge. Pete Alonso's doing big things, but big team. But he's not.
All right, so here's the question I have.
Yes.
The question I have: you are there are a couple points that you make on our show that are very, very good. One of them is about price discovery, right? I defer to you on this because you've hit it time and time again, and I've actually missed a couple of times buying cards. Even a Pele card I bought once, and it was one of those things where, okay, more of them come out of the woodwork. So what I would do on this one is I would look at the set, right? I would start looking at that set that you have this in and see whether or not this is one that they're going to come out of the woodwork, like the Futera cards, you name it. If he's the only guy in it and people just weren't grading it, you need to do a little bit of research on whether or not this is something that people have and just didn't grade because they didn't know who he was. Are there other guys in that set? Are there other players in that set? So that becomes difficult, right? Because there's not going to be a lot of them graded. You know, was it a set that people just didn't know about? Check to see if you can find any sealed boxes of it anywhere on eBay or anywhere out there, because it's sort of like when people were selling the Mbappe sticker, right? You know, remember that? It was like thousands of dollars, Mbappe Prism. You know, people just hadn't graded them yet, right? So yes, the PSA 9, it's probably a great card, but just to use something you've taught me, it's a price discovery world, right? If it's a card that there's not a lot of, is it because there really aren't a lot of them? If it's not numbered, you won't know. You can do a little bit of research now to find out whether it's really rare. It's one of those things where you wouldn't want to be a guy who jumps in on one of the 9s and pays a premium because there's 5 9s, and over the next 6 months, PSA grades 50 of them, a couple 10s. Now the 9s are 15 of them, and you're like, shit. I just paid 3 times what I should have paid.
We talk about comps, but this is an example of why comps they only tell half the story, right? Like Chris Hodge and Card Ladder had a great post in the past week where I think it was a pop 1 Dennis Rodman refractor became pop 2, and it just slashed the price in half. Right? So it's like comps, but like they only tell kind of the effect of a story. They don't tell the full story. So okay. Here's what I'm thinking of PWCC. I think PWCC has become a feeding frenzy for dealers and a feeding frenzy for collectors. I think this weekend, here's what I'm thinking. Dealers, and by the way, Burbank did this really well. Burbank did scarcity. They put in a ton of dealers, and then they put in a little bit of dealers, and then they over flooded it with buyers. So I think the dealers are going to sell a lot of inventory at Burbank. And I think the dealers are going to restock on inventory at PWCC this weekend. But I think collectors are going to be buying at these shows, East Coast National, Tampa, and Burbank. And I think you're going to be able to buy some collector items pretty cheap. 2 players to look at, Brett Favre and Randy Moss. There's a lot of really nice Brett Favre cards on this weekly auction. Autos, flawless, patch, like really nice stuff. And he was on Probstein's like underrated players, and Randy Moss autos, quite a few Randy Moss autos. So those are
We've talked about Favre. I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think Favre is one of those guys that, you know, as people start digging in for people who are undervalued, I forget who posted it. Not just Favre was one of them, but somebody did it. Oh, it was Slab Stocks. Give a little shout out to our guys over at Slab Stocks. They posted a Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers dual auto, and it was underneath a picture of a Trevor Lawrence, I think Mac Jones dual auto, and you know the Trevor Lawrence Mac Jones was like 5 times the price, and you're like, have we gone a little crazy here? Like, I think, you know, if they were being honest, I know everybody wants to be the next Brady, but I think any one of the quarterbacks that everybody's paying all this money for, the Trey Lances, the Mac Jones, the Trevor Lawrence, would sign the dotted line right now, a deal with the devil if they could have Brett Favre's career. I think any of them would take it. Favre's a top 5, 10 quarterback of all time by MVPs, Super Bowls, numbers, you name it. Obviously, a different type of quarterback, not the most accurate thrower, different game. But wow, I mean, you know, and Favre's cards, they're priced at nothing compared to these guys. So I love it. And yeah, you're right. There are some really nice Randy Moss cards in this one as well. You know, also, You're not selling any cards. I'm selling any cards. I want to throw that out there. None of the cards on PWCC's weekly auction are mine or Andrew's. If they are, we'll let you know.
I haven't
Just
I
wanna
haven't
make
sold
sure.
a card on weekly in forever. Have people been asking?
No, but I mean, we try to be as upfront with folks as we can. On the collectible side, we talk about when we do an episode there what we own. Now we have this portfolio, so I just want to make sure folks know. We're going to talk about some cards here. You can rest assured, no matter which way we go, whether it's football, soccer, basketball, baseball, whether it's Trey Lance or Willie Mays, none of the cards we're talking about are mine or Andrew's. Just make it sure.
Something I've been thinking a little bit about is I got it. Like, what teams heading into the NBA season are going to be hungry, and what teams might start out, a little bit flat. I think the flat part is still a little bit, undefined. Like, I think the Warriors have a lot more talent than people give them credit for. I think the Nets as well. But I would look at the Hawks. I would look at Trae Young, man. If there's someone who's still cardboard relevant, but he's kind of priced pennies on the dollar, and in my humble opinion, has a better team than Luka, I think Trae Young can be this year's breakout superstar from the cardboard perspective. I really do. Just in terms of your entry point right now for his cards. Just in terms of his entry point for some of his items.
Well, especially if you look at a multiple, right, between him and Luka. We've always said 3 to 4.
Mm-hmm.
When it stretched, it was 2 or 5. Depending upon who was. Now it's like 10. I mean, Trae is a significant bargain by comparison, so I like that a lot. I'm going to swing it really, really quick to the other direction. I mean, you don't have to pull these up, but I'll give you two things. I think, in addition to bargains, you nailed it, man. I mean, not only is the Burbank show, but there's also a big show in Denver in the airport right now. Yeah, I think who's at that show? Maybe Jay Lee. Oh, no, Sports Card Investors at that show right now. Big show. They lost power, I think, earlier in the day. So there's a lot of shows going on. So, you could sneak in. I think as football starts up and then basketball right around the corner, I think this little, dog days of summer, as we like to talk about it, it's always been the cold period. I think, we're wrapping up that this, let's call that bear market, that lull, that slow period of cards. And I think people are going to start looking to, put more money in. They're going to be making money, and they're going to be doing the whole kind of thing we do again, right? One quarterback's going to be good. Somebody's going to be cashing out of that quarterback. Somebody's going to be cashing out and looking to put it into something, major. Things that have been beaten down. What I'm looking at are RPAs, or not just RPAs, but patch autos of GOATs. And two of the names that come to my mind are LeBron and Kobe. And I want to look at early, nice-looking ones. So in this auction, there's a 2000 Upper Deck Pros and Prospects signature Kobe Bryant patch auto in a BGS 9.5. It's an early patch design. It's got Kobe's original, and you check out his autograph. It features the number 8 on his auto. He doesn't have a lot of so I mean, with Kobe, especially on autos, one, you want to try to find something unique that's a little early, but look at that, you got the 8 auto. You don't see that on all of them. We talk about how Kobe signs a bunch of stuff for Panini. That's a rarer signature. You got to try to find differentiators like that. It's a nice signature. It's a 10 auto for Kobe. It's got a cool purple jersey, 9.5 card grade, and just a nice signature. What do you think of this?
I've watched this market quite a bit. I'm surprised there's no designation none graded higher. This is a very high grade for a card like this. I don't know if people who out there also watch the Kobe market, Kobe patch auto market. Most of them are 9s and 8.5s from the year 2000 to 2003. It's really hard to get a high grade Kobe card like this.
One of the other ones I'm looking at, again, not an RPA, but clearly it's a nice card. 2005 SP Game Used Authentic Fabrics LeBron James patch auto out of 100 in BGS 9. Another early on card auto in a game worn jersey from LeBron in a 9.5 grade. Just a real nice card where we're talking about one of the things that you keep hitting on is game used, game worn, game used. This is the 2005 SP. Look at that. I mean, a real nice looking card. Numbered out of 100, early for him. What is this, third year? Clearly game used. Nice looking card. These are the ones that, when the market picks back up, you can't get for the prices that we're talking about. These things are sitting at right now.
Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And it's not me talking about game used. It's the market. I think people care. I
got one other one as basketball starting, right? Because Trae Young is one of your guys. there is a guy who I have told you about a bunch of times, but I don't love him. You're the one who loves him. And I think you might not, as a nice card, that downtown LeBron you just showed there might not be much longer before basketball season where you can get this guy when no one's looking. And this one might be a sneaky play because, it's funny. It's like a Seinfeld episode. Bring it back to the beginning here where we talked about unnumbered parallels. But it's different when you go back to 2013, right? Okay. And cards were not being produced the same numbers they were produced now. And we've seen the green parallel, which is cool. People don't like it because it's retail, but it is a color match on this. This one is the red parallel. Pull up the 2013 Prism Red Giannis in BGS 9.5. So you got Giannis Red Prism parallel. Look at that. Just a real nice card. And it's sitting right now in BGS 9.5 at a price lower than what the base was selling at. The base PSA 10 was selling it significantly higher than this at its peak. Now, I don't know what Giannis does this year. It's cool. He got a little Disney, special movie about him and whatnot. People thought he was going to win a lot, and by people I mean Andrew, thought he was going to win again this year. Past, he played real well. He's already got a championship. He's already got all the accolades. Does, coming out of the East, which seems, probably a little easier. The Nets are in a state of disarray. Yeah, you have the Celtics. Who knows what they're going to actually do in back-to-back years. Giannis still has to come out of that, East here as a favorite to go deep into the playoffs again. His cards are, they're kind of flying under the radar for somebody with, his accomplishments, So I'll shut up because Giannis is your guy. What do you think about a card like this?
What makes Giannis really tough is, Cage, he doesn't have a ton of cards in his early years. And in his later years, he kind of, like a Giannis Kaboom from 2018, it just has never caught on the same way other guys have. But his rookie stuff is, his best stuff is his best stuff. People cherish, the numbered parallel of his rookie years. So there's this big divide where I feel like Giannis doesn't have a lot of middle. He has some junk that never caught on and then some stuff that's just insane. And I think it's partially because of they didn't turn the printing presses on, Cage. 2012 to 2016, it was just like you guys described, it's just a hobby, And then you started building that momentum, and to keep up, Panini started ramping things up. More products, more releases, and more parallels. So what makes it tough with Giannis is there isn't any, apples to apples. Okay, there's his autos from his early years, but I don't know. I love Giannis long term. Did you see Gilbert Arenas on his podcast talking some dumb shit about Giannis? You saw the clip?
No, I didn't. What did he say? Said it was no good or what?
It was a dumb clip. You guys could Google it. I'm not even going to do it justice because you'll.
The red one. The interesting thing about the red. You're funny. The red one. I'm not 100% certain, but remember, I think this thing gets swept up in kind of like the Prism 18, 19, 20, 21. Like everybody thinks it's the same as these guys with the mass production. I'm pretty sure early Prism like this was a Target exclusive. Like I think red was Target. I mean, like I don't know if you want to pull up Card Ladder or any of the other options that are out there for looking at a pop. Or I would imagine this has got a low pop. You know what I mean? The red BGS 9.5 or PSA 10. I'm sure there can't be too many of these. The problem, of course, then is the storytelling.
Here's what we're gonna do. The people out there who listen are smart. So, we'll lead them to water, but it's on them to learn how to fish. So they know how to check pop reports. They know how to go 2013 Prism into the PSA registry. They're able to do that homework for themselves. We'll cut it here, 30 minutes in. People are loving the National Treasure series.
Wait, one more.
The Vadim episode is an eyebrow raiser. Vadim is an eyebrow raiser himself, so most people call that on brand. The other ones were home runs, so we'll keep swinging.
One more card. Just got to give credit to SGC, right? So there are bargains in these things, right? So take a look at the 52 tops Willie Mays in the SGC. I think it's a 2.5, right? This is one of those underappreciated cards, and with Mantle ending, this weekend, a couple of Mantles ending, and people going Mantle crazy, 52 tops crazy. It's going to get its day in the sun. Take a look at this card. For vintage baseball, for vintage basketball, for vintage cards, I put SGC up against anybody. Look at the centering. Exactly right. For a 2.5, this might be one of your only chances to get a card this nicely centered for the price that this one is at. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous card. I would have been remiss to not point this one out just because, I mean, SGC does a really nice job on this one. It's got a little soft corner on the bottom left, but I would tell you probably 99% of the people would trade that soft corner for this centering. So, if you're one of those guys that likes, eye appeal, that's a real nice card. And guys, listen, just before we pull it up, so many different bargains in this one. Take a look at the Power Buyer feature that PWCC brings. Click Power Buyer. A lot of cards flashed into this one as well. There are some bargains while everybody's out doing, whatever it is they're doing this week, getting back to school shopping done at Burbank, at Denver, at card shows, watching Ken light things on fire. People are busy looking the other way. You can find some steals in the PWCC auction.
Something that I took away from the Derek Grady episode with Heritage, he said, how can a card be mint if it has 9 corners? Remember he said that?
Yeah, for BGS 9.5 shouldn't be a gem mint card if it's got touch corners. Now, I mean, it's hard to argue. It's hard to argue it, right? Because it's difficult when you see a card that has a touched white corner.
Correct.
To say that's a gem mint card.
That's it stuck with me. So, Luca Nation, back to our original argument with Cage. Yesterday, I bought Jamar Chase Blue Ice Prism out of 99. Rookie. Gorgeous card. Wide receivers don't sell. Wide receivers don't sell.
Dude, you say I attack you. You don't even know the half of it. I'm sitting online. I got all the time in the world. I was going to send you a top 10 wide receiver seasons of all time and ask you if you know who Don Hudson was. Go through Isaac Bruce's, his great seasons.
The greatest show
and you're like, what? Who are these guys? Yeah, right. But when was the last time you bought an Isaac Bruce card? Marvin Harrison. When was the last time anybody bought any of those cards? And these guys are the top 10 wide receivers of all time. I mean, Moss, right. Sure. Moss is a different character, but
I'm not keeping it for life. Anyway, this rarely happens. It's a pop 3 out of 99 PSA 10. And 2 different sellers ended the auction on top of each other. So the jersey number went for 50. Number 1 out of 99 went for 1580. Yours truly got it. And then the other one went for 810. I got outbid at the last second. My bid was 799. My thought was take both. If I'm right, I sell off one and I keep one. What would you guys rather have? So just a PSA 10 pop 3 normal for 810 or a jersey number for 1575? I'm curious in the comments. My thought, Cage, wide receivers don't sell.
No, guys, listen. Answer Andrew, right? And there's an extra bonus on this one, which I didn't even think of, is that his jersey number is number 1, so it's also the number 1 serial number. So that's a little different, also. But basically, the question here is jersey number for almost twice the price of a PSA 10 non-jersey number of whoever your guy, right? Forget about that. It's wide receivers don't sell. If Herbert's your guy,
yep.
Would you rather have Herbert? Let's say it's a card out of how much was it out of 99?
Yep.
Okay, so a card out of 99. Would you rather have the jersey number of the card for twice the price of any other one in a PSA 10? Now, RPA might be a little different. I mean, you can use number 23 out of 99 for the LeBron, sells for about twice as much, if not more than twice as much as any of the other out of 99s for his exquisite. But yours was just like a blue ice or something like that. It wasn't like an RPA.
It was just like a blue ice.
It wasn't an RPA. It wasn't a patch auto, right? It was just like a Prism parallel. It was a different story. That's not an RPA.
Well, the RPAs aren't even game worn, so why does it matter?
This is true also. This is very true. You got me there.
Think about it this way. So let's just use numbers 1,000, 2,000, right? So let's say you're right. Let's play that. And your guy does well and the market moves. And now the market for the normal base is $2,000. Double, went up 100%. You get to sell that Jamar Chase that you have, non-jersey number, and you make $1,000 profit. Same thing happens. There's the same multiplier, but I make $2,000. So nominally, I made more.
That's assuming that somebody out there is willing to now pay $4,000 for the jersey number.
And you don't think that there is that person out there?
I don't.
So think about it. There's 99 potential other or 98 other supply of that card, but I'm holding a 1 of 1. I've turned my card into a 1 of 1.
It's official, folks. Andrew has gone from not knowing anything to now he is calling out the eBay 1 of 1s, folks.
Well,
Why don't you pay 20% more for the perfect number, 99 of 99? Why don't you go for that?
I actually had a Curry 99 out of 99 PSA.
eBay 1 of 1.
No, I mean, well, Luca Nation, really the value here is I think for you guys as I go through this stuff, I share everything. My wins, my losses, what's working, what's not, what I'm thinking about. So you guys don't have to put any of your money at stake and get to learn the lesson.
Buy card number 9 and card number 8 and sell them to the same person and say, if you subtract 9 minus 8, it's jersey number 1. Do killer. eBay 1 of 1. No?
Dude,
I love
Montana doesn't even have numbers on it.
Yes, but the difference with a Montana is if you want to buy a Montana rookie, that is the one. You want to buy what's his name again? What's the wide receiver's name? I forget his name again. Jamar Chase? Is it Jamar Chase? Is that his name? Is that his name? I forget. What's his name? That's his name, right? You want to buy that?
Does this bother you or annoy you that just because the grader had a really good day that day, your 10 is a 10 versus a 9?
Yes. But that's always going to be the case, right? People have been struck out in big league games, in World Series on calls that are borderline. That's life. That's the human nature of it. That's the subjectivity of grading. You love the Grady episode, the Heritage episode. And guys, if you haven't listened to it, please go back. That is the gist of the episode, that there are humans grading and there will always be humans grading. The difference is that is Joe Montana's rookie, whereas Jamar Chase has, yes, there's a 1 of 99, there's a 1 of 49, there's a 1 of 60, there's a 1 of 149, there's a 1 of 125, there's a 1 of 10, there's a 1, and that's just in Prism. Then there's Prism Black, then there's Chronicles, then there's your Select, and I mean, I could spend a half hour going through all the number 1 cards there are.
In Cage's world, how much is that card worth? Like you comped my
I like Jamar Chase. I happen to like him, and we talked about
this at $34.
No, I didn't. I comped that at the right price. I comped that at between $300 and $550. Yeah. And everybody you've asked so far has been in that range.
They're all guys who spend more on hair gel than they do on cards.
And they all have great hair.
They all have great hair.
They all have great hair.
They don't have time for cards. They only have time for hair. I haven't shaved. This is what happens when you're fully into cards.
I shaved this morning. No, so I mean, listen, the deal is Jamar Chase could be one of those guys. He could be the next Jerry Rice. He could be a Randy Moss. He could be somebody that I mean, he had one hell of a great rookie season. He's obviously got the chemistry. He's hitting the ground running. He's playing at the right time, right, where everyone's throwing the ball like crazy. He could put up monstrous numbers. He really could. Look, Cooper Kupp had a triple crown of receiving last year. No one would expect that. Chase can do that this year. And you put together a couple seasons like that, all of a sudden he could be the guy that people are buying, and it won't just be quarterbacks. Who knows? That could change. I will tell you, I've watched a lot of football. There have been a lot of guys who have put up 1 or 2 great seasons, as a rookie, as a first, second, third year player, and then just fizzled. Chaz Johnson, by the way, comes to mind right off the bat just because of the Bengals. I mean, he had I remember him bursting onto the scene fantasy and just like 100 yards every week, and then he just became Chad Johnson.
We got to know when to sell too.
Well, that is the other side of the equation that you're bringing to the table now in these episodes and all these episodes to the show itself. Is I'm looking to make money on when I get in. You're looking to make money when you get in and when you get out. Like you're looking to buy cars that you can sell in a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, and maybe not even hold for a long time at all. I'm looking for cards that, sure, if an opportunity presents itself for me to make money on, I'm going to make money. Yeah. But if it doesn't, I don't mind holding that card for a while.
There's 3 strategies in play at once. So the entry point strategy is on like Jordans and Kobe's and stuff coming back from the assembly line. That stuff I'm not going to chase, pun intended, because I know there's more coming. So I'll give you an example. There's like all these PSA 10 Jordans right now hitting eBay. I'm not going to chase it if it goes in the 60s on that one because the image is a little bit better than the other one. I'll get the $26 one that's a straggler. So like that's what I've been doing with Jordans and Kobe's, like the stuff that's kind of base, but coming back from the PSA assembly line and only intense. So I have my entry point. I'm trying to make money on my entry there. But there's the buy, grade, and flip, or buy, crack, and grade. There's that moneymaker. And then there's the chase. Like there's the one of you take that snowball, and this is just what I'm doing. I don't know if it'll work, guys. That snowball and color up to speculative buys. One of one Patrick Mahomes, a one of one Patrick Mahomes patch auto, a Brady Gold, Jamar Chase jersey number. Those are much more speculative buys with football season right around the corner. You're on mute.
I said, I know you want to end it 10 minutes ago, but if you don't mind, there's one card I want to get your opinion on, and we can close it with that. It's in PWCC. Kobe Bryant, Chrome, rookie card, 1996 and PSA 10. Do you remember what these were selling for at their peak?
Hey, they've been
more than that. In the 30s, there were a couple of, you look at Card Ladder, we're like, I mean, you're right, neck and neck. When the LeBron was 40, this was in its 30s. Look what it's selling for now. And I know it's an auction, and I know we're just, where you can sort by highest. That's what I do. I know I'm a snob.
Probably 2,500 right now.
I think it's like $3,400 last time I looked at this.
Yeah, dude, people have not been enjoying the old PSA label. If I could be honest with you guys, if you guys want, like, if you have a little patience or you're willing to, get 20 of these, send them in. The old PSA labels look like shit, and people hate them. This is interesting. There's two of them at once, Cage.
Yep, and one's a newer label, and it actually is selling for less, I think. I gotta watch the greening on these. But
a little better centering on the old label one.
I have a theory.
Tell me.
I think the old labels might become valuable.
They're really cheap looking in person, Cage.
I have a bunch. Remember, I have them on some vintage cards. I have Babe Ruth ones that are over 20 years old. I have Lou Gehrig's. But ultimately, everybody's trying to sell those, and you bring them to an auction house. The first thing the auction house does is exactly what you're talking about: get it in a nice new slab. Yes. So pretty soon, I might be the only one with some 33 Gaudis and the old labels. The old labels become a collector's item in that.
Like you could even tell, it's like it looks like a piece of.
It's wishful thinking, folks.
Like you could even see like it's like paper. It's literally like lifted.
Yep.
This one with the fur.
I hear you entirely.
All right, Luca Nation, we love you. Bye. So thank you all for listening to another episode of Lucas, Tigers, and Bronzo My. I wanted to tell you about a new service that we have starting as of today, and I'm really, really excited to bring it to you guys. So as a part of our partnership with SGC, we got 50 free submissions every single month, and many of you have taken advantage of that. And it's amazing that we could have the opportunity to 650 episodes, 675 episodes in, to go ahead and give back to our community. As people were sending those cards in, they asked, can we send 5, 10, 20 more cards to you guys? We'll pay for it, but we wanted them graded with SGC. You guys know SGC is turning cards around in 13 to 14 business days, have incredible customer service, and their secondary market values are going up day after day after day. And that's exciting for the hobby and exciting for the grading landscape. So we didn't want to just rush into it. We wanted to do it right. And what we did was I relocated here to Boca Raton, Florida. I opened up a P.O. box maybe 5 minutes away from SGC, and I will be hand delivering and hand picking up the cards. So you don't have to worry about anyone else touching your cards. It will be me, and I will update you every step of the way. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to personally pick up the cards from a P.O. box, prep them, new card saver, new penny sleeve, and deliver them to SGC every single Tuesday. Why Tuesday? Well, it lets the stragglers over the weekend come back through on Monday and gives me a day to prep, and it basically gives SGC the entire week to work on grading those cards. Once your cards pop, only then at the end of the process will you be paying for the service. It's $25 per card, simple as that, and the turnaround times have never been faster. We're hearing right now 13, 14, less than 20 business days. So there it is, 9170 Glades Road, number 135 is the P.O. box in Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. 9170 Glades Road, number 135, Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. Of course, you could shoot me an email or shoot me a text anytime, and I'm always available. Many of you already have my email. It's iamandrewgoldberg@gmail.com, or my cell phone number, 215-519-9154. Reach out with any questions.
I could walk you through the process. I've hopped on the call with quite a few of you, and I'm happy to do that. Love you, Luca Nation.